A warm welcome to all the viewers for the course Strength of Materials AME 302, and today we are going to discuss about the lecture about module 2, that is about theory of failure. So before we start the lecture, let me introduce myself Thiyapal, Assistant Professor of Department of Mechanical Engineering, JS College of Engineering, and today I am going to give you a detailed lecture in theories of failure. Well, as per you know that when we are talking about the course, that is the strength of material, so what is the main motto of the syllabus? That is, we are going to discuss about the strength of various types of material that has been implemented in designing various product, because ultimately we use the material to generate some product, and this product is used in several cases. So if I talk about any product, then first and foremost thing that arises in our mind, that is, while designing the product, what should be kept in consideration. So when we are designing any sort of product, we are keeping consideration on the material that we are using, and also we are keeping notice about the properties of that particular material. Along with that, we always try to keep in the mind that what is the permissible strength that a material can withstand, because if the material is unable to withstand that particular load or pressure, then failures occur on that particular design. So various researchers have already performed various tests to check out that whether how much amount of strain or how much amount of load a particular object can withstand. So they have developed several methods also to calculate that particular stresses as well as the breaking point when the breaking is occurring, or they have also performed several tests to carry out to have a look whether how much amount of load they can withstand, that particular product can withstand. So this is really a very challenging task for the researcher also, to get that permissible load that can be resisted by that particular design or that particular product. So their motto is to find out that particular load that a product can withstand or a design can withstand. But it is very honest to be speaking that there are so many complex shape design, and that type of design, it is difficult for them also to test that how much load that can withstand. So preliminary what they do is that they prepare a model, they implement some sort of load, but it is a difficult one to see that how much amount of load it can be resisted by that particular product or that particular object. So from the theories of failure, we are going to discuss about the various theorem or various processes that has been implemented to calculate the maximum amount of load that a material of that particular product can withstand, so that failure may not occur. But still, the failure if occurs, that means how much maximum load it can withstand, that has to be calculated. So before getting to the details of this particular theories of failure, let's have a look at the content, and I would like to say that theories of failure, this particular content will be delivered into 3-part lecture. In today's lecture, we are going to discuss about the various causes of theories of failure, or in fact why this theories of failure is there in the product. We should need to calculate, we should know to that why this failure is occurring, and then we will be discussing in the other 2 lecture about the various theorems that has been associated with theories of failure. So without any further delay, let's move to the contents. So in the content, if you have a look, then you can see the first thing that we are going to discuss today, that is the various types of mechanical failure. So what are the failures that are basically occurring while dealing with the load, various type of material or that particular product, that will be discussed today. Later we will be discussing about causes of failure in metal. So what are the main causes that are helping you to make the failure that will be discussed. Next, I have already told that we are going to discuss about various theories. So first we will be discussing about the maximum principal stress theory, which is also known as the Rankine theory. Then we will be discussing about the yield surface corresponding to maximum principal strength theory. Then we will be discussing about the maximum principal strain theory, which is also known as Saint Venant theories. And then we will be discussing about the maximum shear stress theory, which is also known as Tresca theory, and maximum strain energy theory, which is also known as Beltram's theory. And we will be discussing about distortion energy theory, which is known as von Mises-Yale criterion. So you can see so many types of theories have been associated here. So in this theory, the first thing that we will be covering today, it is none other than what are the types of mechanical failure, or I mean to say basic introduction of mechanical failure that we are going to have a look today. So types of mechanical failure. When types of mechanical failure is coming or arising, then we will be always thinking that how this mechanical failure is occurring. So when any machine element, whatever may be the I would like to say, it can be a rotatory element or it can be a rigid element, it doesn't mean that, means anything, whatever, when a machine element is subjected to a system of some sort of complex stress system, it is very important to predict that the mode of failure that will be occurring in that particular element, so that the design methodology may be based on some particular failure criteria. So if you are generating a product or some sort of element, but still it is getting failure, so it will not act in a good manner, no. So the thing is that whenever we are thinking of designing something, or whenever we are thinking of making some sort of product, the main motto is always that we should look that what are the cause of failure or the mode of failure for that particular portion or for that particular element. So always the person who is making the design, the first thing he or she has to keep in mind that what is the mode of failure for that particular element or that for that particular product. So if you know the mode of failure, then you will be able to choose the design of methodology based on some failure criteria. And the most important thing is that theories of failure are essentially a set of failure criteria that has been already developed for the ease of design. So before designing, there is some criteria that which load is going to make which type of failure, or which type of failure may occur if this type of load or huge amount of load has been implemented. So everything is there. Only the thing is that you need to know, the designer need to know that what is the mode of failure of that particular element, so that they can choose that type of design methodology on basis of some particular failure criteria, so that the design can be made very easily and the longevity of the product may also increase. So in machine design, an element is said to have failed if it ceases to perform its function. So whenever an object is performing some sort of function and due to some certain reason it is no more able to perform the function, that means it is failed. And this has been told in the term of machine design of an element. So in machine design element subject, there are lots of design that has to be done, and in that particular cases lot of design calculations are also made. And in that criteria it has been found that what are the mode of failure that can occur for that particular element has also been discussed. So if I have a look that what are the basically types of mechanical failures that basically occur are of two types. One is yielding failure, another is the fracture failure. So what I was talking, that if I classify the mechanical failure, then it is broadly classified into two sections. One is yielding failure, another is fracture failure. So if I discuss about the yielding failure, then this is due to excessive inelastic deformation rendering the machine part, which makes it unstable to perform its function. Again I am telling, this is occurring due to excessive inelastic deformation, that is rendering the machine part, and it is making it very much unstable to perform its function. And the type of material in which this type of deformation occur or this type of failure occur is always ductile material. So if you are using any sort of ductile material, then yielding failure is the main, or this is the normal failure that occurs in that type of material. So as I have already told you before, that whenever you are performing any sort of design of any element or any object, then you must know that what type of material you are using to generate that particular component. And it is very true that we should also know the mode of failure for that particular type of material or that particular type of design, because unless we are aware of the mode of failure, it will be very much difficult for us to know that how exactly the failure may occur or how you can prevent the failure of that particular element. So designing an element, it is a combination of all those things. You have to know about the properties of material. You should know that at which failure may occur for that particular type of material. You should also know the mode of failure for that particular element whenever you are performing the design. So keeping in all this thing in the mind, you are going to make a setup so that you can generate a perfect design of that particular product. Next we are talking about fracture. So fracture means whenever you are implementing some sort of load and it is getting tear apart into two or more parts. So this is a general fracture. Now this fracture can occur if you are implementing an impact load on that particular material. Then also fracture is occurring. Again, if it is a brittle material, then also if suddenly load has been implemented over that, then also fracture is occurring. Now this fracture can also occur for ductile material also. Not always that brittle material is the mode where the fracture is occurring. So if I talk about the fracture, then this is the case where the component basically tear apart into two or more parts. And this mostly occur for brittle material. I have already mentioned you that mostly it occurs for brittle material, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't occur for ductile material. It also occurs for ductile material. But if you consider most of the cases, then it is basically associated with brittle material. And the most important thing is, in case of fracture, you are not going to get any sharp line of demarcation between the ductile and your brittle material. However, a rough guideline is there that provides you the percentage of elongation, which is always less than 5%, then the material may be treated as brittle, and if it is more than 15%, then it is treated as ductile material. So again I must say, if the percentage of elongation you are considering for the fracture, then I must say if it is less than 5%, then the material will be treated as brittle, and if it is more than 15%, then the material will be treated as ductile. So this is the most important thing, or the causes for which the types of mechanical failure basically occur. So as we are discussing for fracture, in case of fracture you always know that the percentage is always, if it is a percentage of elongation is less than 5%, then obviously it is ductile, no doubt about it. But if percentage of elongation is more than 15%, then obviously it is a ductile material. However, there are many instances when a ductile material may fail by fracture also. So as I have already told, fracture means yes, it is associated with brittle material, because suddenly if you implement load, it will get fracture. But if I talk about the ductile material, then also fracture may occurs. So what I was telling is that these are the two types of mechanical failure. Well, there are 5 types of theories that are associated that has been put by the researchers regarding the mode of failure or the theories of failure. So among these 5, the first theory, that is maximum principal stress theory. So this is also one of the mode, theory of failure that has been proposed by many researchers. The second theory of failure is maximum shear stress failure, and third is maximum principal strain theory, and the fourth is maximum strain energy theory, and the fifth is maximum distortion energy theory. So you can see that there are basically 5 types of theory that has been proposed by many researchers. So one by one we will be discussing all the theories in my next part of my lecture. Okay. So what we were talking, that if I talk about the types of mechanical failure, then I must say it is yield failure, another is fracture failure. So if I talk about the yield failure, then this is basically occurring due to excessive inelastic deformation that is rendering in the machine, and the part basically they are unstable to perform its function. But if I talk about the fracture failure, then it is occurring mostly in the cases of brittle material, because whenever you will be implementing some sort of load, they will get fracture. And if your percentage of elongation is less than 5%, then that type of material is considered to be a brittle material. And if your percentage of elongation is more than 15%, then it is to be considered as ductile material. And the most important thing is fracture occurs for both material, brittle also as well as for ductile also. But in most of the cases it has been considered for brittle material. Now let us move to the next slide. So we will be discussing about what are the various causes of failure in metal. So if I tell the causes of material or causes of failure in a metal, then the first is cyclic loading. That is, you are giving a load over that particular material or that particular object, that is in cyclic manner. Means once you are releasing the load, again you are implementing the load, and it is implemented over that particular object. This is carrying out in a cyclic manner. So this is one of the cause for failures in metal. Next we will be discussing about long term static loading at elevated temperature. So you have made or you have set at a certain temperature, and you are implementing a static load, and that is also for a long duration. Then there also failure can occur in that particular metal as well as in that particular object. So I would like to say is that causes of failure in metal, as it is occurring due to cyclic loading, that is, you are implementing the load over that particular portion of that particular element in a cyclic manner, then obviously a failure will occur. And if you put that particular element or that particular object at a certain elevated temperature, and then you are implementing some static load over it for a long duration of time, then also failure will occur in that particular metals. Next we are talking about impact loading. Impact loading means suddenly you are implementing some load over the object. Means you need to make a fracture of that particular object. You need to know that what is the maximum impact load that can be resisted by that particular material. So if I talk about the Isoid and Charpy test, there you have already calculated that what is the impact load that a material can resist, isn't it? We all have performed that experiment and probably with this type of experiment, impact loading, you will be able to know the maximum strength of that material or the maximum impact load of that particular material that can be withstand. Next point regarding the cause of failure in metal, it's all about work hardening. Work hardening is also another type of task or the treatment, you can say, that has been performed over the material. Then also there is a chance of failure in that particular material. So work hardening, if it is present, that means it will not give a very fruitful result of that particular element or that particular work. So what we are doing is that, what are the various causes of failure if I consider, there is also last but not the least, that is the severe quenching. Now this quenching is what? It can be water quenching also, it can be air quenching also, okay, it can be furnace quenching also. So what we are doing is that after heating that particular element, we are bringing to the object near with the contact with the water, so it is known as water quenching. And what happens, we are slowly means helping the water to get in touch with that the surface of that particular element. So in that cases also sometimes some sort of crack may occurs in that particular metal, and so this is also one cause of failure. And in air quenching means after heating the element to at elevated temperature, you are allowing it to be exposed in the air. So this is your air quenching. And furnace quenching is also some sort of after completing your heating, you just put up the furnace off, you allow it to cool inside the furnace. So for these three different quenching, what you will be getting is the value of the hardness. You need to calculate the value of the hardness, and you will be seeing that it is varying for three different material, for three different quenching process also. So if I talk about the severe quenching also, if you go for this type of quenching in a very severe manner, then obviously again the same thing will occur, that is your material will fail. Or you can say severe quenching is also one of the cause of your failure in some sort of metals. And whenever we are discussing about the failures in the metal, it is directly associated with the failure of that particular element or the design object too. So if I come to summarize of the entire process of mechanics, or what are the theory that is back behind the failures of this particular metal, then I have already told you that there are several reasons that why failure is occurring. So first of all, if I talk about the causes of failure or types of failure, I have already mentioned you that it will be of two types. One is the yield failure, another is your fracture failure. So yield failure is that you are implementing some sort of load at a certain means unexpectedly it is having some sort of load over that particular element. And if I talk about the fracture failure, that means you are implementing some sort of load over that particular element and suddenly it is getting fracture. So it can be done for both the material fracture of failure. That can be done in both the way, that is for the thing is that for brittle material also, it can be done for ductile material also. And the most important thing is that if I talk about what are the various causes of failure, because these are all are associated with our content, because we need to know what are the various causes of failure that is occurring. So if I talk about the causes of failure, then it is obviously by implementing the cyclic loading, and that means you are giving some sort of load just in a cyclic manner, that over that particular area you are just providing some sort of load, and the failure is occurring in that particular material as well as that particular element of that particular object. And if I talk about the long term static loading at elevated temperature, then there also I must say that you are exerting some sort of static load, that is huge amount of load has been implemented over a particular area at a certain elevated temperature, and that is for a long duration. So if it is occurring there, that means there also some sort of failure is occurring. And next we will be talking about the impact loading. Impact loading means suddenly you are implementing some sort load over that particular object. So if I talk about the ISOID test and the Charpy test, these both tests are basically used to know or to calculate the impact load of that certain material. So what we basically do for ISOID and Charpy test, we basically prepare a sample and we are making a V notch at the mid of the section, and in one of the tests we are putting the sample in a horizontal mode, and another experiment we are putting it in a vertical mode, and with the help of hammer we are just implementing certain load, and the hammer is striking the material just at a once, and you can see that material is getting break, or sometimes the material is getting bent. So when it is getting break or bent, whatever may be, the maximum load we are going to have it from the scale. There it is showing with the pointer head the maximum load at which the break is occurring. So this is all about the impact loading case, how we are going to calculate it. And next we are talking about the work hardening process. If work hardening is there, it is also known as cold hardening. So if it is there, that means the quality of that particular product is not so good. It is also one of the mode of failure for some sort of metals, as well as it will not give you a very good strength, mechanical strength to that particular element. So you know that these are the causes of metal failure, or these are the causes of various failures in various metal as well as element. And as I have already told you, severe quenching, that is means if you are bringing the quenching, or you are performing the quenching for a long time, or after heating that particular element from the furnace, you just drop it in the water, or you just bring with the water at a very rapid manner, then in that particular cases also a severe quenching can occur, and this is also one of the cause of failure. So today's lecture, as I have already told, that there are many researchers who are daily exposing or they are daily researching that what are the theories that are associated with the failure of this material, because it is very important point for all of us to know what are the theories that are associated with the failures of metal. Because if we are not aware of the mode of failure, then it will be difficult for the designer to design that particular object and to know that what are the reason behind that why the failures are occurring. Because unless you are aware of the failure or cause of failure, you cannot make the precaution while designing. And if you don't do so, then most of the element or most of the costly product, it will be get damaged, or it will get failure, or it may get crack also. So as a researcher, their motto is to find out some sort of theory that are related to failure. And the most important thing is that I have already mentioned that they have already invented 5 theories or 5 logical theories that are associated with the mode of failure. So if I talk about that failure theory, then first thing, that is the maximum principal stress theory. Then there is the maximum shear stress theory, that is theory of failure. This both are theory of failure. Then maximum strain energy theory, then maximum strain energy that has been absorbed by this one, by that material, and maximum distortion energy theory. So these are all the various types of these are all the theories that are related to the theories of failure. So in the next slide, or in the next lecture of the slide, we will be discussing about what are the stress strain curve for various types of material that are associated related to the failures in metal. So it can be for stress strain curve for ductile material, it can be for brittle material also, and it can be various types of material. What are the theories that are associated with all these things, we will be studying in the next lecture. So before we go to the, let's come to the conclusion. So finally we came to the end of this particular lecture, and the most important thing is that please stay connected with me, so that in my next upcoming lecture I can discuss about the various stress strain diagram for ductile material for low carbon steel. Again we are going to just discuss about the stress strain curve for just a ductile material. We are going to also discuss about the stress strain curve for brittle material, and in fact we are going to discuss about the stress strain curve for perfectly elastic material also. So these are the various types of things that are associated with the theories of failure, because unless we are aware that about the stress strain curve, we will be unable to know that where the brittle or where the fracture is basically occurring, because in stress strain car volley we will be able to know that what is the percentage of elongation, then where is the proportional limit is associated, where the upper yield point is there, lower yield point is there, then ultimate stress is there, and then there is a neck formation that is for ductile material, but in case of brittle material it's not there. Again we will be knowing about the brittle material fracture, that after to a certain extent limit of proportionality it just get break, ultimate point it is getting and it is getting break, because there is no upper yield point and lower yield point for that particular type of graph. So if I say that this all thing will be discussed in my next lecture, along with some principal theory of principal stress we will be discussing, and all the various types of theory of failure will be discussed in my next upcoming lecture. So thank you viewers for watching the video, and please stay connected with me, because in the upcoming lecture we are going to explore everything about the various theory in details. Thank you very much for listening the video. If you have liked the video, then please press the like button, subscribe the channel, and please stay connected with me. Thank you very much.